Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to the afternoon session. This is Simon. I'm going to start off just talking about Google's business directory first of all, and then I'm going to hand over to Hemel, who is going to do much of the afternoon with Google Ads, Google remarketing, and Google Analytics. Then I'm going to come back and finish off with a session on PR. So, Google's business directory, what's this all about? This is the directory that Google maintains of businesses that I'm sure you've all seen. And if you search for a business type and an area, so see here I've searched for Internet Business School and Kent, you often get a map listing coming up either on the right hand side with a specific business if it thinks you're looking for a specific business, or what you also get is this: you get a map of the area and you get several businesses in a list box below. And this data comes out of Google's business directory. It's actually free of charge to add your business to Google's business directory, but a lot of businesses haven't actually ever added themselves to it. And when Google created this, they tried to make an index of every business they could find at the point they created it, but they haven't done a sort of automatic re-adding of new businesses. So it's down to business owners to proactively add themselves to the directory. But of course, the reason for adding yourself is that you can get a lot of free traffic for people searching for very specific things. And I know we've got a couple of you on the training where this is really relevant to. So the estate agent and the dog trainer I'm thinking of particularly, where it's a very sort of specific geographic interest. People will be searching for estate agent, Southwest London, or dog trainer, Wimbledon, wherever you might be. And for those sort of phrases, these listings generally come out top of the page before the natural or organic listing. So it's a way to kind of jump straight to the top of a search engine results page. So if you're not currently in this directory, this is where you go and add yourself into the directory. You just go to google.co.uk/business and you can add yourself into the directory. And so it's free of charge to do. When you're adding yourself, you need to put in various bits of data. So the business title, that should exactly match the business name. So if you're kind of ABC, or whatever your trading name is, basically, that's what you put in the business title. But in the description, there you can put in keyword phrases that you want to be found for. So you can type in, much like we spoke about earlier with the keywords in the YouTube videos, in here you can put keywords that you'd like to be found for. Now, the way this directory was set up was actually open to exploitation. And what a lot of business owners did in the early days of Google's business directory was they created multiple entries in the directory because it was free to add a directory entry. And people would just add themselves in every town. So say you're a plumber somewhere in Kent, say you're a plumber in Maidstone in Kent, you could actually add yourself as a plumber in every town in Kent. So I don't know, what's that, probably 50 different major towns or something. And just put your main phone number in Maidstone and just make up an address in each town. You could just say 10 the High Street, Gravesend, 10 the High Street, Ashford, 10 the High Street, Dover, because most towns have got a road called the High Street, right? So people just made up addresses, put their main phone number, and that actually worked. And Google put all those things into the directory. But then they realized that people were kind of cheating a bit and they were claiming to have lots and lots of branches they didn't actually have. So what they then did was they added a couple of layers of security to this to stop people fiddling the system. So they firstly asked for an address, and what they did is they started sending a postcard to the address with a code on it, and you had to enter the code to validate your listing. So you couldn't just make up an address anymore and say, oh yeah, you're at 10 the High Street, because you'd never get the postcard. So there is a way around that, of course, which is to only use addresses which you can access. And in most towns, there is a mail forwarding service. So you could use a mail forwarding service to effectively use their address and then forward it onto you. Or you might have a friend or a relative in a different town. You could use their address, because no one's likely to turn up at their door. You know, if you want a plumber, I doubt any of you have ever Googled for a plumber and then driven around to the house and knocked on the door. You just pick up the phone and call them, don't you? So, if you've just got an address that you can access and you can control in another town, that's one way that you can add a second entry. The other thing Google did to police this a bit better was to expect to see a local phone number in the town that you're claiming to be in. So in the example I gave earlier, where it was a plumber in Maidstone, but added to every town in all of Kent, the Gravesend entry Google would expect to see an 01474 phone number, but if you had a Mosto number, that'd be an 01622 number. So Google would smell a rat that the phone number code doesn't match the area that you're claiming to be in. But there's a couple of links there which give you ways around that, where you can buy a phone number on any exchange code in the country, and then you can forward that phone number to your main phone number. So you could buy a phone number, say on the Gravesend exchange code, and then forward that on to your Maidstone phone number, and it'll cost you like 10 or 20 pounds a year. It's pretty cheap to do. So that's a couple of workarounds to enable you to have multiple entries in multiple towns and actually basically increase your catchment area. For your website, you should make sure that you include any addresses that you claim to be at on your website somewhere. So that's another thing Google does, as well as sending the postcard to check that you get the postcard with a code on it, as well as the phone number being in the right town. They also check that somewhere on your website you mention that address, because again, they'd expect you to mention that address if indeed you really were operating from that address. So the way around that one is obviously you put your main address on your homepage, but for any kind of satellite offices, which might be friends or relatives' houses, which you're also claiming to be at to get the extra entry in Google's business directory, what you can do is you can just bury those in a very small font somewhere where people don't really look that hard. So maybe on the terms and conditions page, in a small font right at the bottom, you could just have some little text that says additional offices at 23 Acacia Avenue, Cleethorpes, or wherever it might be. So when Google looks at your webpage, it is going to find the other addresses you're claiming to be at somewhere on your website. So it ticks a box for Google, but obviously no one's going to see those addresses really unless they read paragraph 23, part C, subsection 4 of your T's and C's. Use standard categories. You can add your own videos and images to your listing. So you can upload your own photos, upload your own videos, but you can even upload video testimonials from customers. So pretty powerful that. And it kind of, because the page looks like it's an official Google page, it almost looks like Google's endorsing the testimonial as well. So some other tips are: treat your listing like your website, update it regularly. Maybe do a different coupon code each month. So have a different incentive, different coupon each month to give people a reason to want to keep coming back and take action. A key factor with this stuff, though, is reviews. And we had Claire talking about reviews yesterday, but how consistently your business is accumulating new reviews is quite a key factor in your business directory ranking. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're getting people to leave reviews of your business on Google's business directory. Okay, and they also look at citations, mentions of your business elsewhere on the internet. So make sure that your business is also in various other local business directory sites, etc. Okay, so how does Google choose which ones to list? So primarily it's the business type and the location, somewhat obviously. So if you search for estate agent in Ashford, it's going to list all of the estate agents in Ashford. And if there's not many in Ashford, it might show you some from the neighbouring towns as well that maybe mention Ashford on their websites and might cover Ashford too. So where there's a low competitiveness in the market, where there's not many competitors offering the same service, pretty much it's a shoo-in. You just get listed. If there's only 5 dentists in your town and you add yourself, you're going to start coming out if somebody searched for dentist in your town. But if it's a competitive niche, and say you've got a bed and breakfast and you're in Blackpool, there are hundreds of B&Bs in Blackpool, and only up to 10 are going to feature in that box on the first page of Google. So Google has got to decide who are the lucky 10. Which 10 is it going to list on that page, and which are the other 90 odd or 100 odd that aren't going to feature on the first results page? Because they all tick the first 2 boxes. They're all in Blackpool and they're all B&B. So then Google looks at what we call the prominence factors, which is citations, mentions of your business in other sites, other directories, and reviews of your business as well. So it's like the SEO stuff we spoke about before in the course, that it's all about getting links to your website. That helps your prominence. Your prominence helps your ranking within Google's business directory. So make sure that your business features in other business directories and it has links back to your website, and you've got reviews collected for your business. So here are some other directory sites that you can add your business to. I need to read those out, but you've got these slides. So a bit of homework for you is to go and add your business to these directory sites. And for collecting reviews, A few obvious tips is, don't suddenly get 20 reviews all created at the same time from the same IP address, because Google will know it's just you reviewing yourself. So encourage your customers to leave you reviews and get them spread out over time. Obviously, don't suddenly have all the reviews exactly the same point in time. That looks suspicious too. And if customers are giving you a review before, but maybe in a different format, like they've sent you a nice email, maybe go back to them and ask them if they wouldn't mind leaving you a review on Google's review engine as well. Don't be tempted to cheat. Don't post them yourself. And it's okay to have some reviews that aren't all 5-star. Having some 4-star ones too just makes it look real. So if someone says, yeah, it was really good, and there was a little thing, you could then answer the review, go, yeah, thanks for pointing out, we've actually addressed that little shortcoming now and that's fixed. And that looks more believable for you. Okay. There's some other review sites at the bottom of the page, which you can also get reviews for your business logged in as well. And that's it. That was just a little short and sweet session on Google's Business Directory.